Is a bit suspicious. He's played 1,125 bullet games and 1965 is too low. Too low for a 24-49 rapid. So we'll go for e4 now. Kind of a King's Indian setup. King's Indian attack against the French. Yeah, yeah. I can tell you, this guy doesn't really know. We can go for b5, but the problem with b5 is if a5 comes, we don't have a6. But that's how basically you're supposed to play against the King's Indian. They will get their stuff on the king side. H4 actually, if they're supposed to go h4, and then get the stuff. This knight can get the f1, and yeah. If we get c4, then we can try to also try to get knight. For example, if I go push the pawn at any point, then that is a these two pawns, these two squares he will carve out, c4 and e4. So all in all, in the King's Indian attack, black is not supposed to repel the attack or stop the attack in any way, but allow the attack and then defend it, and in the meantime create counterplay and infiltration through the queen side somehow, and generate enough counterplay. That's the basic idea. That's why b5, a5, queen b6, bishop b7, or a6 would be the general things. But here we cannot go b5 because, like I said, we don't have a good response to a4. I guess we do have b4, but I don't want to close the position that much out there. So we will start with a6 so that we can go. I don't feel that it is very um, objectively the best. There's certainly more stuff I can do, but I'm more so waiting for what he does. However, I am very suspicious of these ratings. I should have actually not played this guy. Yeah, h4, the typical king's in attack maneuvers, and I still cannot go b5. Well, I can go now. I can go now because now I can go bishop b7 on a4. So that is all the normal stuff. The only thing I don't feel good about is Metron's ratings, and I'm feeling very suspicious due to that. I might be wrong, of course. Should I allow 8-6? Should I nib it with 8-6, fix the pawn on h4? Then there will later be g4, g5 ideas. And if 8-6 is allowed, then it closes down, but then this f6 is a hole. And the thing is, he might not play it immediately. If he's being, let's say, assisted, then I don't think, because if you play immediately, then after g6, I don't see how he's opening lines up further. Let's see. Okay. Now I do have a very big hole on f6, and then this is there, which is a long term. These are some of the long term problems. Even they even persist in the long term. Long term. I think I can go a5. For example, if I reach an endgame, let's suppose it's a rook endgame and there's open files on the board, and the rook can come back. I have to be wary of the back ranks. And even if I move my king, for example, if sometimes a rook can go to h8 and take this pawn, then this is a password that is two squares away. So definitely some long-term risks to allowing this, but at the same time, I do not see how he's going to open lines. The only pawn break in the position possible would be to go f5. So let's see. Now the question is, should I move my queen to its b6 square? And also, how am I exactly going to generate play here? I just keep pushing the pawns, see what it does. Usually in these positions, computers try to make a move on the queen side with like a3 or something. Um, but it is not usually um, a human reaction because they do not want to engage, um, play on the open side or open lines there because black will be the one using those. All right, so he's gonna put stuff there like that. But I have pieces on f6, and if he does this, then of course all avenues of attacks have been closed, the lines have been closed. Um, I can continue with the queen move, but if my queen moves, then I'm allowing bishop g5, which I don't think is something I should mind so much. His knight comes here, his queen comes here. He might be looking for some sacks there after that. But I think it's fine. I can also put a knight on here if he takes them. That is, there are double pawns, but then I create this weakness where I will be able to place my rocks and put pressure on them, and then also try to go and create more play on the queen side. So it's between the balance between how many pieces do I want to deploy to the queen side. The drawback, of course, being I might be hit something on the king side with that, in which case, in which situation, then I would rather have them on around the king side. But if I don't deploy them there, it's kind of hard to understand how exactly I'm going to create any pressure on the queen side. But also, I don't have time on explaining too much. Ace of the b4. That was maybe not correct. Because I might have wanted to go c4 later, but it's fine. I can next go for queen b6 and b, yeah. If this takes, his queen cannot take because my queen takes and this rook is pinned, so he should be moving the bishop, but he cannot move it here. He can move it e3 or d2. Or yeah, f4. In the king queen attack, the bishop f4 is common move. So he does that. He prepares for the um, yeah, he prepares against b3, so that now queen b6 and b3 isn't um, a threat. Now I'll play king queen b6 anyways, um, because he has moved his bishop once. So if he goes here, then he'll have to move it twice. That's a very small psychological victory if he's supposed to do that. And he might not do that just for that reason. If everything is going as I predicted, I still am still very suspicious about this guy's ratings. Well, this is not. This is not. I called it, but I also told that humanly you don't want to do that. You just move the bishop to f4. So he wants his knight here, queen here, and then put pressure here. And then actually he will be trying for these. But they don't work because the only way any knight f6 would work is if I have to recapture and then his queen can get to capture and come in. Otherwise, for the attack to continue, he will have to open files. But if he does this, knight takes, a knight g5 and queen f3, and then he goes for knight f6, then I actually cannot capture because then the queen comes in. So now I have two options. The principled approach should be to keep going with my queenside play, but yeah, my queen will be needed back on d8 soon if he plays his knight to g5 and queen to f3. I'm also thinking about going c4. Does that help me right now? I cannot because there's a pin. So furthermore, I'm thinking of the bishop a6 to generate my play. This is what I'll do because I'm low on time trying to explain the position. Like my net is generally horrible and there's big lag and I am always like 90% of the games in bullet I'm losing due to bad network. Otherwise I would be much higher rated. And mine would if I start playing rapid even seriously, if I start playing for the rating on rapid, it would not go that much higher than my bullet. This guy's rating is just, you know, very suspicious. It's not that he's played 10 games, he's played 1100 world games, 160 world games. So, not liking the numbers or what the numbers are telling. But, anyways, regardless, I don't care if whatever the result is, the point is to have an instructive game. Okay, that is an interesting one. Stopping you from. Sorry, c4. And if I play this, he carves e4 square for f9. I'll of course have to take en passant, but then he's threatening to play that again. Oh, then this is hanging. So at the point, if I play this and make this sort of an advanced structure if he pushes, well, right now I should first play rook b8. Yeah, giving me time. This kind of confidence, giving me time. He thinks he's doing usually hunger to win takes over your sportsmanship. But if it hasn't, there's always a need to understand what is going on. Takes very slow. Okay, he has closed, and which is not very typical. He has countered the queenside play. There's no knight b4 because of a3, and he's threatening to take here, which is not ideal. And he's basically forcing me to go d4, and after that he can take here, which is not the direction we usually go for with the green. Takes, and rook d8. So if I go takes, and rook d8, what is he doing? Rook d8 would take away my queen square from d8, which the queen needs to come in case he threatens to get in with the queen on f6. So rook d8 would be not ideal because of that. But it will be ideal in the sense that I'll have a discovery. Like takes rook d8, he has to decide what to do with the queen. And if he takes, then there is no good discovery. Okay. If I play d4, that doesn't look like too good. but I guess that'll have to do for now. Um, what else is there? This I cannot really allow for to be captured because that is just very, very loose. E6 will be a move then. Um, so basically either this or takes is basically first. After takes, my knight here is it. Actually, if the queen takes, the queen gets trapped. Maybe knight here, knight take, knight take. Yeah, the queen still get trapped if the queen takes. So I will have one tempo, one. Well, basically, I'm saying it won't be a tempo then if it takes. I'm not worried about this knight. I can use that move for something else. But the question is something else. What? Well, the tempo would be the threat would be that takes, bishop takes, knight takes, and then queen takes. But then this does not trap the queen because the e7 square will be there. My knight will be on e7. The queen can simply take on e7. All right. The reason I'm reluctant to close it down, which would otherwise be give me a nice fixed target on d3 for later on, is because I do not want to devoid myself of counterplay. I don't want the position to close where my counterplay is irrelevant to the situation that he is creating. Takes, knight takes, then this one. So if I do takes, takes, queen b4, he'll have queen f3 and he's threatening check, takes, queen takes, and mate. That's what I should value on. And if I don't take, then he will take this knight. So basically, after takes, and queen here, or takes, knight takes, then queen b4. Um, well, then after queen b4, the knight is hanging because it is not dependent. So maybe I'll give takes, and then rook d8. But then rook d8, he is also looking here. Also, then my queen is not prepared. So if I takes, and bishop takes, of course I'll include this first, and then bishop takes. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Bishop takes, bishop takes, um, rook d8. Now if I do bishop takes, and then bishop takes, knight takes, um, that is was that was an important intermezzo because otherwise I would have taken here, and because now the knight will indeed be hanging. So that was a very important intermezzo that he has to have that level of calculation to be able to see, which is exactly why I said at the start that I should not have continued or started to play with this guy after looking at his ratings. These are very suspicious ratings. Okay. Yeah, son of a bitch. I'm very sure that I know what the analysis is going to look like, and I won't be able to because there's no scroll option or anything when you stream. So I will check on my phone, but I'm 100% sure I am not 99% sure. I'm 100% sure. I was clearly aware what is going on with that guy's rating. Yes, of course. 14 ACL and then to throw off the trail to inaccuracies. So it's going fine. Queen b6 was a mistake because of um, yeah, my queen needed to be on d8. I could have created something without moving my queen, and the computer suggests a3, which is um, difficult to understand. Now, see, like I told you during the stream, like I said during the same stream, when in the king against the King's Indian attack setups, whenever the black side is suggested to expand like that, whenever they are expanding like that, which is the principal approach to counter it. Um, the computer always likes to play a3 to start with. They like to play one move on the queen side, but humanly it is not what you want to do because humanly you think that's just giving a hook for black to open a file there and then try to control it and generate counterplay on the queen side. And that's what the computer suggested here that you should do a3. But the issue that now is that the computer is suggesting black plays a3, and what I fail to see is how is now black generating play on the queen side. Black is not generating play on the queen side. What they want to do, however, is first of all the queen wasn't yet necessary to stop g5, which I mentioned during the stream that now he just played bishop from c1 to f4. Psychologically, you do not move it right next move after I move my queen, which is why I moved my queen because I was saying that he just moved it to f4, he won't move it right again, g5. Um, because it's not like it's a tactic or something. It's not like it's winning due to immediate tactic. It's a very long idea. And the general spirit that computer is showing here is that you do not need to create an immediate counterplay there. Basically, you defend. Basically, you just sit here and you wait for white. Right now, for example, bishop g5 has been stopped. So white may struggle because ideally what it wants is to put the bishop on g5, and then if it's ever captured, then the knight comes to g5 and the queen comes to f3. That's the point. So black is stopping that, and the computer's suggestion that's why is whether it's from the white side against the king's Indian or whether it's from the black side against the king's Indian in the French, for example. The computers do not offer a proper plan or a proper uh, strategy to how are you exactly going to counter the play. Their basic saying is their basic statement is that you sit and you defend and you're solid enough, basically. You play prophylactic chess, you stop white from playing good moves that can help their attack too much. And if they overtry, then of course they overextend and they lose. But otherwise, you sit and you play until you reach the end game, and then in the end game, this space will be of use. It's the same thing I told you about the same thing I mentioned in the stream about this during the game about this thing, this apparatus in the end game, how it is, how its role is in the end game, and the same thing black would have here. If anything ever opens up, if the rook ever goes to the this rank and picks this up, then this pawn is 2 squares away from queening. So that's the general way the computer is looking at it, which is not that hard to understand because not that easy to understand because the only pawn break now is c4. If white is ever able to achieve that, the problem with that is that you cannot play with keeping the queen on d8. You will have to eventually move. I can play a rook c8 now that the a file is closed. I can play a rook c8. I can maybe play knight b6, but my knight is important on d7 to capture it whenever this comes here. Even though might not, that might not have been that important because my king can just go h8 and then he doesn't have anything. I guess he does have knight g4 and try to collect h7. So I can move my rook here, I can move a knight here, but eventually to really connect my rooks, I'll have to move the queen. And yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense how I'm going to play with this without a pawn break. But that's what I'm guessing eventually the computer will go for the c4 pawn break with maybe knight b6, bishop a6, rook c8, and c4. Takes. Yeah. So queen b6 basically was what he was what gave bishop g5 to him, and after which the attack was um, working in many different lines. Okay, so a3 b3. What does it say? A3. Yeah, this is the another idea that I was saying that these double pawns would actually be very good because now um, these two double pawns would be very good because now black gets to generate counterplay on the c file, which is kind of stupid of me not to go for after spotting it because here the counterplay was quite evident that after this pawn goes here, then this is a fixed backwards pawn, and that's a very very clear target. And if you have a target, you have counterplay. So knight d4 idea should have been played after being spotted. And then after, and for example, here it's saying rook c8, but it's connected with the same idea that this knight is going to d4, and these double pawns are great. They cannot really be attacked. They can be attacked with some knight moves, but where would the knight go on e2? It doesn't look like it's ever going to e2. this remaining knight, and the bishop cannot really attack it from right in the front of it. So that would be a strong pawn that would stay there. So that would be a very justified double pawns. And then black would eventually double or triple on the c file and make, exert maximum pressure over here. So I guess that was the way to go with ch, queen d2, d4. And yeah, that's why it is being suggested that it does not take it. But if it does not take it, then there is also more um, out. There's after which I'll hit this. Thanks, thanks. Exchange of pieces helps black, and then he's going for c4. Okay, queen d1. Why is queen d1 necessary? Let's suppose king d2 is played. g5 traps the bishop. Yeah, so you have to see this some, a lot of resources. If it's not possible, then the rapid time control C. Okay, so queen d1. Oh, this knight is going back to b8, to c6, to d4. So black put one knight in d4, that was very good, but this knight was looking at it, so it exchanged that one, and I was going to put the second knight in b4. Because there's space on the queen side. It's not a one-sided space affair. It's a you get this space on the king side, you'll cramp me on the king side. I'll get this space on the queen side, I'll cramp you on the queen side. Because black has good space on the queen side, he has good room to maneuver his pieces. So knight b8, knight here, and then this knight here would be excellent. If the bishop f4 and bishop takes ever happens, then still again this would still be a permanent weakness. I guess okay, queen d1, knight b8, d4. Now this is something that doesn't look advisable to write because queen side is where the black is trying to generate play. So d4, c4 and takes opens the c file, and it certainly looks like um, if anyone, if anyone, then it can only elevate black's play, black's counterplay, black's activity. Okay, so d4. Okay, I'm going to say take it, which I understand because um, on c4 and cb they will take cb and then they get rid of this weakness, whereas now this is still a weakness and this can never really be played. On the next move I'm very sure that's what the computer will stop next. Well, first we'll get a tempo, yeah, and then king here to get out of the check, and c4 is bad because takes, and nice, this is an obstruction tactic. So what is this? Then okay, the 2 versus 1 is now closer for black to be mobilized. Stopping b3, and then we can infiltrates. Whoa, okay. The knight, the bishop will get the knight. Okay. He's not black. See, this is a very instructive thing. Indian is not going for grabbing that pawn, saying that, oh, that looks very nice now after passes. because what you cannot do is cannot allow counterplay like this. Then suddenly it'll get very tough. For example, if he goes here, then rook c2, for example, and then if you defend it, then the other rook comes in, and now he's threatening to take, and rook takes, and checkmate, something I mentioned about this structure, this apparatus, that it is a back rank problem. And even if the king runs to f8, it still is going to remain a problem, because then there's a back rank check. King goes to e7, and then the rook goes here and collects this one, and then this is the passer. So that's why the correct way to do this, the most correct way to do this is would be with the rook ch. Okay, so yeah, that is now very clear that black has generated the counterplay. This is what black's counterplay was supposed to be like. So that's why c4 is not valuable to him. So it's for a very deeper reason or longer reason that he cannot play it, not nothing tactical. All right, and so if they go here to put pressure here, then they are giving up on the attack. So that frees other pieces to move. Now the queen can move finally. Support b4 more. Get ready to go in with knight d4. And this knight in d4 would be excellent. And you can see now his knight in d4 is extremely misplaced. Something that could be that is very good for attack, but then the attack is not happening. And suddenly this is a terrible knight, because this knight would ideally want to be now on f3, which is probably maybe what the computer is going for. Put the knight on f3 to fight this knight d4, fight on the d4. Bishop e2 takes, rook takes, knight d4, rook e3. Preparing now, slowly preparing c3. And this looks excellent when his knight can jump here at time. And it's also preventing c3. Goes here, d4, because black is, because white is in a bad position, not activity wise. So now, otherwise, generally, it's a very nice passed, solid passed pawn that cannot become weak because it is defended. It's a connected, protected. It's not a passer yet, sorry, but it is connected pawn. It will become a passer if the c pawn ever is off the board. Generally, it should not move these, but here it is very justified because black cannot really attack it, because this knight is here. These two pawns are very nicely stopping any kicks, and um, the drawbacks of this pawn are none because it cannot be attacked. And then this rook will now, because all the attack is gone, so the king will come back to g8, put some nice um, hold on f7, and the rook will go to d8 and defend this, and then this knight is also ready to hop into um, c3. And by the way, it doesn't really need defending that much. The only thing that I would be a little bit careful, I need to be a little bit careful now, but is after queen f3 uh, and knight here, I cannot take the knight. If I take the knight, then the queen takes. And yes, I can play still rook here and defend. No, actually, cannot. No, I cannot, because it's a check. King will have to move, and then this is made. So yeah, that's one thing. But basically, what I can do is not react to it. Let the knight sit in f6 and do nothing, because there is not even a second knight now anymore to go to g4 and threaten this. And without the second knight, this knight in f6 is will be unable to threaten anything. So that is how black creates counterplay. Okay, so the computer doesn't want to, so now it needs to open defense to b4, and it doesn't want to go knight c3 and close this. This would of course be terrible. Uh, we are not, then his c3 pawn isn't really weak, and You also got rid of this very nice cramping pawn on d4. So that's why I'm going to say, okay, just defend this one, and then I can nicely to c6 to put further defense on these two. Yeah, that's the difference. The computer can easily not be worried about these attacks, see the resources, but as a human, you have to spend a good amount of time to see that you have resources for any attacking ideas that are now looking to be potentially possible there. 25. Okay. So they're not going for it. They're not going for it. Well, yeah, I would be a bit afraid of this. But yeah, the thing is counterplay. The counterplay is faster. The counterplay is way faster. And yeah, the can then easily put the queen on e7 to prevent any queen f6, queen g7. They can do that without worry, but as humans, you have to really calculate this stuff and take time. That's why King's Indian definitely can be an unpleasant thing to face, but principally everything will right. The only difference is that this idea that was seen during the game should have been played, and a4, a3 has its positional benefit that negates or that rides over they ride over the drawbacks that it is committal and you are forever giving up a chance to open files. After knight d4, we can still open file, and if we don't open file, we can still do enough, put enough pressure for them to try to go d4. As we saw, otherwise this is coming. d4 takes 6. Yeah, here they went d4. But if they don't go d4, then what? Let's say queen e2. Then yeah, the other knight comes to d4, and then you never get d4. Then you never get d4. Well, let's say this comes back, then you still go knight d4, and again, anytime this knight is captured, then this file does open up. So as committal as it looked, that we might be blocking the whole queen side, allowing white easy one-hand play on the queen side, one-sided play on the king side. Um, it proves that it was not because there was still this idea of knight d5, which is something to be noted in the King's Indian because these knights usually move. The knight goes to in the King's Indian. It's a very system opening. Uh, it's the same. They play the same maneuvers, same thing, same piece placements. So knight d2, knight f1, knight h2, knight f. Here is the thing, and then this knight going to g5 is a thing. The knight on f3. But this is a very good idea to remember. You have two knights, one on c6, one on d7. You can put one on d4 if you get this structure that feels like you've closed it. You can go one on d4, exchange it, then put then read out the other via b8, c6, d4, and you still have the c4 pawn break in the long run. You've not completely closed it, and you can put then your bishop on h3 and forever threaten it, even if you don't play it. You keep threatening it, and if ever the knight on d4 is taken, then there's a lot of counterplay generated via this open c file, and that d4 pawn is not weak. Alright, so that was very good and instructive. However, I should still maintain that I'm very, very, very sure that it's not a coincidence that if bullet rating was 1900 and his rapid was 2500. Okay, let's do another one. I think I went too deep in the analysis of that. Okay, first I will check 2450. Okay, that see this his bullet is 2402. This is legit guy. This is a legit guy. This is a legit guy. Unless I open his account and I see 2 plus 1 bullet instead of 1 plus 0. No, I can tell from his play this is a legit guy. Yeah. So we are playing kind of Tarash. It's not a Catalan anymore. It's turned into a Tarash. And I don't think it's exactly turned into a Tarash. It's kind of a Tarash. Because there's no knight in c3 yet. But yeah, the themes are same right now. This is called the so-called Dubov Tarash. I can allow, this is the Dubov Tarash basically. You can allow this. Um, yeah, bishop goes to e6, he takes an f6, queen takes an f6, and the open lines provide some dynamic compensation for that pawn. The open central lines will provide the rook, and the queen is out. The rook can come to d file, and e file, and c file. So, but the problem is I don't know any theory, and I don't really find opening study very intellectually stimulating as I do study of other areas of chess. Okay, so basically I can allow that, or other move is d4, which gives up the e4 square. I castle, bishop comes to g5, and my bishop is now out of the circuit, so it cannot really unpin. So that pin would actually be problematic. Okay, you know what? Well, first of all, this is not exactly the move order was not of the Taraj, so I'm not very sure if I can even give the pawn here or not. I remember that after taking you this castle, and this happens, then if this happens, then even I remember pawn takes. Okay, so I castle, knight takes, bishop e6, and if this happens, then I remember pawn takes because I'm creating a lot of pressure here. Then the open rook and the bishop combine to create pressure. That's basically the idea of this. And yeah, you know what? I'll just go for it. I'm not very sure this is correct, but we'll find out. Yeah, now I think bishop e6, and if he takes here, then pawn takes. Yeah, and now this is the pressure we're exerting, but I'm not very sure that this is the place where you actually play it, or the line, because the little changes in the line and everything can change. So because I am not aware really of it, so I don't know. But I can see that yes, potentially there is pressure here. Even night before we hit it. Currently, queen takes queen, rook takes, and bishop takes here is a threat because the rook is not guarded. A pawn can take, so he needs to move the dark square bishop. Yes, that is usually where they move it. And then takes, 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 takes. So I can get back a pawn, which is not a big achievement, like queen takes, rook takes, and then rook takes a2, rook takes a2, bishop takes the knight, and the rook goes back here, bishop takes rook, this takes rook, and then in the end I have this is my extra pawn on the queen side, whereas this will be his extra pawn on the king side, so that obviously is not ideal. But I do remember there is maybe night before also. I don't remember anything actually. I just remember in this one that this might be a playable idea. But now I see that night before would also be one of the ideas to go knight e2 and to pick up the pawn this way. What he's doing with bishop e3 is if I go knight b4, he will first take my queen and then take on b6 with a tempo. This is fine. This is fine, doesn't really do anything. And what I'll be threatening with this is to take his queen, take on e2, and then take the another thing I'll be threatening with knight b4 immediately is take the queen and go knight c2, hit the rook, and then take this off. Give him double pawns there, take it this pawn, put more pressure on this one. So yeah, but there is potential, even though it looks completely stupid and terrible. Structurally, it looks just horrible. You gave them two bishop, you gave them an extra pawn, but it is very interesting how this is still, I believe, not dead lost. It's still playable, unless of course I have messed something really up, and if this one is not playable, another version of it is. But yeah, we'll find out. So I will go for knight before. What can he do? A3 is not possible. He just loses the knight. Well, he doesn't really lose it. Like if I go knight b4, a3, I take his queen, rook takes, I take the. Yeah, actually, he does lose material maybe because he cannot attack my bishop back. I attack his rook, and if he takes my knight, then I'll take his rook. I'll be at the next chain. And if he attacks, he cannot really attack my rook because my knight is on b4, so rook b3 is not a possibility. And nothing else is loose in the position to be hit as an intermezzo. So I believe knight b4 would be the move. So what he will most probably do is take my queen and then hit me with bishop b6, to which I will simply move rook d7. There will be this hitting my rook there. So to which I might then maybe have to move rook c8, but then there will be this problem. Yeah, if I move my knight, this is also the problem. If I move my knight, that is also another problem. So I guess the easiest I see is rook takes, or first queen takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, bishop takes, rook back, rook back, bishop takes, rook takes. Um, and now these two are my pawns. This is his pawn. He has a rook on the d file. I have a rook on f8. That just looks terrible. But also his knight is about to come somewhere. Is he? No. Yeah, well, he can come here. If I go here, he can still come here. That will be kind of a forced exchange. Otherwise, it's sitting this. So bishop takes. But knight here, I'm also hitting the bishop. So he goes his knight here. I take and I'm hitting the queen, but then he takes and he's hitting my queen. I Yeah, that gets complicated. That gets complicated. These fucking bots in my chat. Okay, so knight e4, knight d4. I take his this, takes this. I take queen. He recaptures. Knight takes rook. Knight takes b2. That is too much. But yeah, basic sense of it feels like I'm not losing a piece or anything there. Which of course I'm not, but knight takes b2, then his knight comes out via d7, hits my b6. It's going to be complicated. So I actually assume that he's not going to play knight d4. Yeah, I think he's not going to play knight d4. He's going to do something with the bishop. What can he do about the bishop? I think he should play a game and then go over a views game. Yeah, I will go over the viewers game after this, and the good thing is I do not need to ask their playing IDs because I can predict what everyone's playing ID is. Yeah, so this guy is legit, I can tell. And now see, he will take time. He took time for this. So this is not an obvious choice. Okay, this I can claim as a compensation already. I don't know if I can do much with it. He's probably going to hit me back with something uh, like e4 or something. And he won't basically he will make my bishop move and exchange queens before I can do damage. But that is not a move people would play lightly. What's it doing with the oh nice. Yeah, yeah, nice. But was it worth it for one pawn? Well, now he has two pawns. So queen g4. Idea is to somehow sneak in there, but he will always have f3. Yes, he will have f3. Or actually queen d7, but queen d7 keeps my bishop here. So you might even have just e4. Yeah, queen d7 just e4. Now I'll have to exchange the queens. Queen g5, f4 is not a problem. Queen here. Interesting. Interesting stuff. So queen g5 is basically my only idea. There's not a lot to look at otherwise, and I'm low on time. My tactical sightings go down by 80% when talking while playing. So this is also possible that I'm missing something. Uh, I'm down to pawn, so black really has to create something. Otherwise, the endgame is obviously practically lost. He has a majority on the king side, f4 versus 3. He has a majority on the queen side, 2 versus 1. So, yeah, I'll look after this into the Duke of Taraj what the hell he's giving up the pawn for. I know what he's giving up the pawn for, and it is actually objectively very sound. But obviously, you cannot play such things without studying them first. It's not the other way around. Dubov, Daniel Dubov is obviously hailed as a creative genius in chess, at also at a who plays at a very high level, over 2700 strength, and yeah, his opening play is indeed quite. This is a nice try by him. He can on the next move he's going to put a rook on b1, and I can get a pawn back, but I'll still be down a pawn. That's the logical thing here. So you can, for him to give a pawn back and still be at the pawn. So there's no e4 here, but he will get a rook on d1. And then he is the one more active. There is no this pawn fork, by the way, but it is always good to. Um, oh, there's knight d4. He's exchanging more pieces. Well, knight d4. Yeah, this on queen e4. He just does f3. I need to be able to put a rook on d1. So at least on queen e4, when he goes f3, I have at least this. And then I might actually put enough pressure to get another pawn on the queen side also. Oh, very nice, very nice. Go, go f3 first. Yeah, you can do that. Can do that. Now, should I pressure here? What does he have? He will have knight a4 for that. He also has rook c8. Sorry, rook c1 for that. Yeah, this doesn't look very solid. Looks loose. But I'm asking a question. So let's see. I don't have time. I would actually lose some time. So if he goes, where is he going? Yeah, I feel it is still well, after I win at least one pawn back, and if it is a good one, then I feel that it is technically defensible with the counterplay generated, but nothing more than that. It doesn't look a lot more than that. Like it feels like a two-result game even after I get a pawn. He can do f3, e4, yeah. That's not enough to generate much for me out of that weakness. So on rook c1, I might go here, but I'm taking away that e6 square away from the bishop, which might come to haunt me. You have this, takes, queen takes. Ooh, okay, okay. That is... Okay, I don't have any time. What is this, 10 plus 5? Why the hell is it's so slow? Okay, he's going... Where is he going? I don't have any time. Oh, so he played knight c1 to preemptively defend this and also prepare b3, and also that knight was a problem here with the a2 pawn, and now the bishop and rook are looking at a2, but the knight is nicely defending the a2, so that was a good move. Good Karpovian move. Okay, I don't have any time. I wanted to use that loose bishop to do something, but it doesn't feel like I'm having a lot of time here. There will be b3 now. Yeah, I didn't have an intermezzo because um, who the fuck is calling me? I didn't have. Yeah, now this will hit the knight, and then he might go queen d6, hit my pawn, and I offer a queen exchange. Or rather, X stopped. That X stopped the queen exchange. Okay. Oh, I see. If I pin it, he's going queen b4. If I pin it, he would go queen b4. Force a queen exchange, or force one of the exchanges. Okay. But now I can pin it. Although he can just dunk in it. We're going to get into monster first. We can decide where it's going to be. Now he's going to play bishop to b4 if I had gone right here. Okay. I don't know if I can do that. Well, I just did that. Walked right into it. Oh, he's not putting. Oh, there is knight here. I need to now defend this. He will now attack this. Okay. I have this because if he goes king g2, I'll take with check. Winning this check. This again might not be much, but yeah, out of his weakness, I at last created something, but more because of tricks rather than because of it genuinely. I don't think. Oh, I also had knight h2, but then no, I didn't have knight h2 because then he indeed attacks it in a way that I cannot move with check. Now I have knight h2 if I want, but that's not my problem. My problem is time. But yeah, now I feel that with this allowing knight f3, it is turned. I will obviously still lose due to time, but it's done. And this is a genuine player. You can see the human in it. You can see the struggle. You can see the humanness of the play as opposed to the last two. Oh, I don't have queen f5 in the end. I have queen b4, but he'll just go back. Shit. Time is the problem. That position I could have converted. Oh, I do have. What the hell am I drunk about? Oh, he has 97 in the end. He has 97, and that's a streak. I go here, and then bloody hell. Yeah, let's stop 97. Oh, the queen is defending. Well, I think I'm losing it. Oh, I need to go here. I should have actually gone there. There's no immediate backman threat, but I don't have time. Yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem. He just forced an exchange. He is forced an exchange, and I am back being worse. No time. This, by the way, I have to be careful about. Okay, he's going up to the sky. And now the problem is he has right here. Oh, I will still lose because this is a losing endgame. He has two connected here. And my king is too far away to do anything, so I will still obviously lose. Nice push, yeah, push, yeah, check. Oh, it's my king's placement. My king's placement is the problem. And of course, the two rooks, the two pawns and the rook, they can move each other. They don't need assistance with the king. They can move each other. Yeah, yeah, that's the problem. He's going to check and Well, if I don't attack his rook, he's going to attack my... Dot. Yeah, I don't have time, otherwise this comes too fast. It might still come too fast. He doesn't have a skewer, so I have a bitch. Okay. Oh, could could I have gone here? Takes. Was that intermezzo? Yeah, that felt like an intermezzo. There was might be a little bit of a saving chance for that, but now it doesn't feel like I have any chance at all. Nope, no chance. He'll just go here and then he's defending. Then he's queening, sorry. That is it, yeah. And he will block with the rook. Okay. Yeah, I think I should just remember. There was chance there when I didn't have time. But when I had time, I was yapping. Okay, so first of all, we'll go to the thing later. Okay, I did not see who the hell called me at that time. There was Russian double Scott Macy. No, it was a friend from the game. Okay. You there, Courtney? I'll go through your game out right after this. You got bits? Yeah, I think bits is something to do with you supported me. Thank you. I didn't get why didn't I get a notification then? I'm not sure how that works, but I think that's how it works. What I saw other in other streams. Bits. That was bits. I don't know what bits is actually. And I don't know where it would show me if you sent it. I also have no clue. But regardless, I will go to your game. I'll actually come back to this game. This is very important stuff. And by the way, I'm very sure here I'm winning. Not winning, uh, but it could be winning. Yeah, this is a blunder. He thinks that he hits my queen. The problem is I can take with a check, and if he attacks my knight, if he comes to g2 and attacks my knight, then I'm taking this rook with a check. So that's why this is possible. And then yeah, here if I open the engine, it would be like yeah -3, and queen c8 is correct to go here. But then I had no time, 20 seconds, no time to figure it all out. Yeah, bishop. What I thought here is that this should give something. Queen f5, but the problem is there was this problem in the end. Regardless, I'll come back to this later. This was very nice game, and that guy I like. See, this I don't mind losing like this. I don't mind. I know that this guy was genuine. The last guy was a piece of. Okay, what's your name? Look. Okay, you're not online here. Oh, do you want to do the which game? Oh, for the love. Okay, for the love. We'll go to for the love. For the love 79. I cannot scroll. I cannot look at your game because I can't scroll. I have to figure this shit out, man. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way. I'll figure out a way. Rapid through the games. Ah, still don't reach there. Can you send me like the link of the game on? Oh, but great, of course. Bleachers wouldn't allow me to interact with it, man. As far as Bleachers is concerned. Okay, you know what? You can send a game link to the FB, and I can then copy paste. I think, yeah, I can actually copy paste and open a new source for that new browser on which I can then use it. Yeah, so if you can't send it on FB, I'll open FB. Oh, you sent on the, yeah. So I have to figure out a way how to actually access the chat from my laptop from OBS. Um, log docs, light docs, visit docs, visit docs. I don't know. Some transitions, control stress types. I don't know. That's not done. Okay, I'm not able to do this. I don't think. I'll have to search it first, but otherwise I think I'll mess it all up. Okay, yeah, I'll look at the FA and then go through the game from there. You should tell us about the stream again. Can you say about the stream which our chat about the stream? Our chat? Oh, you mean that group? Yeah, I'm not in that group anymore. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. I'm not. I don't think I'm not very entertaining. I'm more. I like it more to be more instructive. No, I left like long ago. I left it long ago. Like it's been at least 2 months or something. Uh, can you send your game links on the messenger so I can look at that? These are 40 minutes ago. These messages are from 40 minutes ago. I don't see any new messages. I'll refresh. You added me back to the group. That I see. I don't see any. Okay, it's loading now. Yeah, I don't see. That's fine. No, I'm not going to. All right. You can also send me through the mail. I'll figure it out after this. After today's stream, I'll figure out. I'll ask him those browser things, AI browser things, how to first of all get access to the full page of a site when you interact with the page, and second of all, how to get messages. This is ridiculous that there's no way I can scroll here. Like if I want to go to the bottom of the page, there's no scroll bar when they give you the interact thing. There should be a scroll bar. I can make it shorter and larger, but that's it. I will have. I think it would be in the properties. Who left? Did I leave? Oh, from the group. Yeah, I don't remember properties. So in the properties, there's width, height, defaults, custom CSS, defaults. I show you to reset camera here. It's the same. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. Otherwise, I might mess this whole stuff up. Okay, now I received the sound of the. Okay, so this is it. So this is the first game. I'll first copy the link. Copy link. I'll paste it on UBS as a OBS as a new source, a browser. Courtney game one. Okay. Okay. Courtney game one. Remove that source, open source, public source, feature set, hidden landing, all that. Okay, it didn't ask me what site to go on. So the URL for this would be paste, okay, and then it opens. And then I'll close the hide deletes and open this up. I can figure stuff out. Okay, so now what I need to do is interact with it. So I'll interact. That's it. Okay, so I don't see your opponent's rating or anything. That's fine. I can see the time. I can see the move. That's enough. Okay, so this is the French. Tehran. You transpose into the Rubinstein. Perfect. C3. System, you don't need to know much about it. It's one of the moves as far as he's concerned. He is strengthening b4, etc. And I do this, takes knight f6, very good. And the bishop's placement to f3 is unusual. They usually go back. He was 2850. I don't believe those numbers are right. I don't believe those numbers are right. Either you mistyped or I need lenses. Okay. So bishop on f3 is a troublesome placement. It is rare. People don't do it that commonly. It is, for example, in the Schlechter variation, the Schlechter opening, which is very much like the Rubinstein, but it is not like Rubinstein. In the Schlechter opening, they go, for example, for bishop d3, and then when you take, bishop takes. Now here you don't need knight f6, knight d7, because they are not going to, they are not able, this is not a knight, it cannot take your knight in f6, so you just can kick it directly. But then in the Schlechter, the point is that it goes here. So in the same idea in Schlechter, if for those who are not If you don't know the theory of Schlechter, it can very much become uncomfortable because black is going to develop the bishop that way. So that is the point of doing that. That this is the structure we are keeping. This is the structure we are keeping like as it is, which means we will be playing b6 and bishop b7. After c5, we will play b6 and bishop b7. So that's what we are doing on the queen side. That is a given. There is no real other way to defend the bishop, and that's why when they place the bishop early on this diagonal, uh, on this diagonal, then what happens is it interferes with that very plan, making black feel uncomfortable. But again, objectively, it is not the best. It is not nothing bad either. He can play this way, and then there are ways black can counter it. So let's see. This is correct. First hit it. C5 is very good. Now queen b6 could have been played, but okay, you allowed that, and now you're waiting. Castle. So you'll castle queenside. Now this queenside castle, for example, first thing, queenside castle is okay. This is this is just a crazy move. This is a crazy move that the um this is a crazy move that the engine is suggesting. Um, no, nobody would in their right minds would play that. Yeah, this is just a crazy move. The long-term idea would be to get the bishop to e6, I believe. So you get the bishop out that way because they have castled queenside. So you don't care about the pawns, and you don't care about that his rook is aligned with your queen. Uh, and this is kind of a defense. Wow, this is actually kind of a defense. If you think about it, what's the threat? Why do you need to move the queen? You need to move the queen because if you don't move the queen, if you do something else, then let's say if you do something else like rook b8 or something, then apart from oh that's what you did. Then apart from this, there's also bishop to f6, which is the problem that now you actually lost material because of that. So e5 is a crazy defensive slash offensive resource. Now it's giving up a pawn, but because he has castle kingside, this is not a very sturdy structure. So this is crazy. Now, if you take, then the computer will probably say that now you play queen f5 or whatever, and then now this bishop on e6 will be excellent. Now, this is not a very common thing in chess to do to move this e6 pawn to get the bishop out. This is not very solid. Then then a question can be asked of you often in these cases. Then why are you playing the French? If you're going to remove the F1 and remove the solidity of the French. But in many cases, also it can be like in this case, this is not exactly now, it's nothing to do with the French. It's the position. It's just a position that has no French characteristics. So now opposite side castles, your piece is his still development left to do, and your pieces his bishops are looking here, which do nothing, and you are hitting the bishop. Now first of all, so it's a tempo. Tempo in open center opposite side castles will matter. And that is just brilliant, brilliant move suggested by the computer here. It's just brilliant. If any human plays this, I will, immediately rank him very high in understanding of chess. It's a crazy idea. Okay. Rook b8 is a more human idea, but now you just lose that rook. Now you're losing a full rook. It is because this alignment. What I would understand is queen f5. That I understand very much. It's a very human move, and you still have a problem. The problem is the bishop, the piece relation. The piece relation means what piece is looking at what, and etc. So that is a big part of observing piece relations. Is a big part of one's tactical awareness. So if you try to go here, he can. He will always have this theme of being able to remove your defender and then capture your bishop. However, the thing is, um, you might have bishop a4, but then it will go b3, and yeah, you can now call that a sacrifice if it takes that this is this too much, and That can be a proper sacrifice then. But yeah, you still have problems, is what I'm saying. So e5 was an amazing resource, solving all of black's problem and immediately giving black the initiative. So yeah, e5 is just amazing. Yeah, this is understandable. He took here, he moved the queen, now you're down a piece. You don't have any good things to show for it. You're trying to do that. G6 is a hook. Exchange the bishop. You're trying to create stuff. Okay, now your pawn breaks are gone. So b4 was the pawn break. After you go here and he fixes it, now there's no b4 ever. Like you can, yeah, you can place it and still go here. Try to, get something like this going if this rook moves. But yeah, it's difficult to generate play now. And he just moved the queen out, so that is it. That loses another piece. Yeah, so I don't blame you for this game. Uh, but your actual miss is not seeing. I'm not never. I will never expect you or anyone. I'm not expecting you to find this e5. Never, never. But I do expect is what your miss. You can consider what your miss was not realizing this alignment, immediate alignment. Queen a5 was a must here. Queen a5, I understand. Queen a5, and you are not doing too badly. See, Queen a5 is you're doing still good because by the way, still e5 is a point. But even if you don't see e5, queen f5, then rook b8 after making sure that this is not hitting, and then d4, g5, moving the bishop out, and rook comes in. Queen f5 is still a great position for you. So it was just this one little miss. He cancelled, and then you didn't see the alignment as rook is just aligned against your queen. That's good. Okay, I'll look at the second game now. Right? Do you have any questions? Any more questions with this game? By the way, I'm never, like I said, I will never expect you or say anything if you don't find move like e5, but you should appreciate what a great move this is. Right? Do you understand the depth of it? Indian is giving a piece, but we are a pawn, but, and, opening up the queen, but, you understand what it's stopping, and then amazing. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Move like e5, and immediately everything shifts in your favor. Immediately the initiative shifts in your favor because of then also your bishop comes to e6 and adds another thing, and then your attack immediately starts while he still has to prepare his, which is a big thing. All right. Okay. So no more questions. Then I'll look at the second game. I cannot actually see the chat a lot of the times. Okay. So second game. Yeah, I think this is the second game. Copy link. Yeah. Add source browser. Um, Fortnite game 2. Okay. URL. Paste. And okay. I'll hide game 1. Maximize game 2. Okay, I don't know that is something else. Oh yeah, I'll go to game 2. Maximize game 2. Hmm. I'm not sure how much of this will be visible. Yeah, I think that should be good. Hmm. I'm not sure about that. Okay. Um, little bigger. Okay, so interact. Okay, so this is a game two. Again, I do not see your opponent. I was rating. I'll close the engine. So you're playing white. We play e4. We play e5. The Danish. This is very weird placement for the bishop. Do you agree? Blocks the d pawn. We'll have to push the c, push it again, etc. Right? Do you agree? This is a weird placement for the bishop. Now, the only way you can make it a half decent placement for the bishop is if you take immediately, right? That's the only way he can justify playing on d6 is okay, the next move was pawn takes by white, so I can play bishop to d6, but because my bishop comes to e5, right? A simple knight f3 here, however, you know, then if he takes, is great. You go here. You're attacking g7. If he tries this, then e5, right? A simple knight f3 would be excellent here. When they do something stupid like that, make them realize it. You know, what's the expression? Make them sit in it. Rub their okay. I don't think rub their faces in it is right, but make them sit in that field. So bishop d6. Okay, knight f3. Let's see what this guy is doing here then, right? Okay, takes. Yeah, knight is already attacking this, but the bishop can just be taken. And you defend the e4 pawn. You bring the bishop out. Very good. Very good. Very good. f4, very good. You lose the bishop now. Because what I tell you, see, f4 is my impulse too. I also want to play f4. But I will not. Because when I'm looking at f4 in my head, okay, by the way, your time, what's happened to your time? Did you berserk? Right. Right. Berserking is a very smart choice. Berserking is a very smart choice because how fast you are. The 3 points that you get for berserking as opposed to only two that you would get if you don't berserk, which, lame people do. You get three, which would put your tournament rankings very high. So, thing is, the point I'm making is the first move I want to do here is impulsively very much f4. I want to play f4. But this is exactly the thing I keep telling about every other thing. Pushing the pawn. I'm never saying that it is a bad move. It is yes, it is committal. Any pawn push will, by definition, automatically, as a rule, weaken a square. So I'm never saying that those are bad moves when you weaken a square or push a pawn. Sometimes it's just important. It's a give and take, like we just discussed. It's a give and take. Like in the game where we were seeing in our last meeting, the A5 push to which gives the B6 weakness and the B5 hole, etc. It's a give and take. The only thing that you have to do is train yourself to respect the drawbacks. That by definition, these are always the uh, the weakening move. These are always weakening moves, and there are weaknesses of them, which the second you play them, from then onwards, should be in the back of your head all the time. I played f5, f4. Now it's irrelevant if he can do something, if from it or not. It's just your own. You're very aware of it. You're very conscious of it. Oh, I played f4, f4. It's a committal move, but it weakened my king. There could be checks on the background. whatever on the diagonal. And like I said, pushing the f1 later, if ever an infiltration can happen on the b2 on the second rank, then you have to also understand that the lateral thing. But that is completely irrelevant here. But still, you have to know these things, right? You have to have them in the back of your head when you're making moves like that. So this is the reason, because of that training of my brain, the first move I impulsively want to play is f4 very, very strongly. But I will then see f4 is a weakening move. I will then immediately see, oh, this check picks up the bishop. Get it? So I also want to play f4. You also wanted to play f4, but this is the reason I will not. I will I will spot it and not play it. Unless of course I'm playing bullet or something, then I might play it. Because in bullet you play impulsively. Okay. A5. Yeah, yeah. You will see it. You'll see it. You. It's not something. And I'm saying, I'm not saying that you're not capable of seeing it. You're very much capable of seeing it. Seeing it. You'll see it immediately after play, and then you are waiting for him to take the turn, and then you see it. But then that's too late. That's too late. Yeah. Okay. Now you're mated. Do you see that you're mated? Peace relation. What is defending what? What is looking at what? Right? Yeah. Peace relation. The queen is looking at the rook. My queen is defending the rook. My queen is tied down until I move the bishop or something, you know, or I kick the queen out of here or something. Yeah. Because, yeah, you saw it, I think, because otherwise you won't play this. Yeah. You saw it. Now bishop comes up. Don't take on first. Oh, yeah, your queen is it, so you cannot take on first anyways. Ooh, no, no. You're down a piece. Only chance is, um, you get a nice, you place your rook. Maybe you somehow defend the e5 pawn first, but you move the queen, then you get a nice f5, f6, and stuff. Uh, for those, actually, this is his extra piece, right? This is his extra piece. You understand what I'm saying? This is extra piece. They're still sitting there, and then they're very poorly coordinated, right? They're not combining. The thing we talked about, peace coordination, peace harmony. They're not really combining together yet. So you are down a piece, but I would say practically speaking, you have big, big chances. But this queen exchange offer, yeah, the queen exchange offer, now it is over. And this is a very bad player. He has to realize that. He's trying to get the rook and something, but now the queen can move and defend it, and you just escaped. Oh, okay. I think you need to look at the games before you send them to me. Okay, you cannot send games like these, man. Cannot send games like these. Okay, was there a third one? I think there was a third one. I'll look at the third one instead. Is that the third one? No, you only sent two. Yeah, I think you have to see. You have to check the games. You won this? Are you serious? You won this? No, white resigned. Black is victorious. Is this not your game? Because I just copy pasted the link that you sent me. This is very much your game, I think. Yeah, you sent the wrong game. Okay. I'll wait. Did you just send a third link, or is it the same link now? I still only see two links, and um, I'll reload if you sent a link. Okay, I think you did. Just copy link, close this, remove, yes, remove, yes, add source, browser, okay, URL, copy, paste, okay, enlarge it, I think that's good, and interact. Okay, I'm getting faster at this. You can see a black. What's this guy's rating, your opponent's? So it's a 10-0. Yeah, it's a 10-0. French. Are you reviewing it first to make sure it is streaming? No, no, I was not reviewing it. I was figuring out stuff from OBS. Oh yeah, this is the Monte Carlo stuff. When they go early C4. A lot of ways to play it. You can play it in many ways. Objectively considered best is the bishop e4 option, but like I said, you used to play with c6, which is also very playable. Anything it is playable at this point. Openings are not that critical. You just if you, as long as you're doing healthy stuff and you're doing healthy stuff, maybe no need to take that, but also fine because he's not threatening to take it. If he takes it, then your knight takes it, and that's it. If and by the way, one thematical tactic that I want to show you is some thematic, a tactical theme that often occurs not just in this, in many different any different position it can occur, but it has to do with similar things in the center. Is for example, if the take, um, and for example, just to show you I'll waste a move of white. Even though I don't need to waste a move, even if they go here and you have bishop here to defend it. And now if the castle, now they're losing this bishop, and this is a common thing. This happens a lot. Now they're losing a bishop because knight takes happens with the attack on the queen. So he has to respond to that, and then they lose the full bishop. A lot of the times this happens. This is a very often missed theme at the start. Before below 2007 before 2000 rating below 2000 rating, it is very often missed by people, and it can work in also all different settings. You can reverse the color. It happens a lot of the time with the black pieces where the black will have like a knight on c6, right? Um, and white will have, for example, a knight on d4. Black will try to pin it with bishop, right? For example, imagine this knight on c6, and then black bishop on c5, and then white knight on d4, and then white's bishop on here. It's the same thing. Then he will take the with this with the attack on your queen. Your queen is sitting on if your queen is sitting on d8. So it's thematic, but it's not anything unique. It's not a unique tactic. It's a discovery. It's a discovery attack. It falls under that theme. So it's not something you don't see if you are not trained in this particular thing. Okay, so the game looks very nice so far. Now he has an IQP. What is the upside of having an IQP ever? The only upside is that he has open files, he has more space, he doesn't have a bad bishop, and he has. But looking at Black's position, it doesn't feel like it's that big of a difference, if there even is. And he immediately loses all the any upside he would have had with the um, IQP, in relation with the IQP. And now he's slowly sinking into a worse position simply because now he doesn't have an IQP, he just has a weak pawn. Now he doesn't have any IQP or anything, he just has a weak pawn. That's it. No upside of it. It's just a weak pawn. C6 is good. Now, how what do you do? What's very important to do against a weak pawn, particularly It is much written of about in the IQP how to play against the IQP. The most important square. What is the most important square when playing against an IQP or any backward pawn or any weak pawn? The most important square is the square right in front of it. Right. That's what you don't want in. Yes, very good. Right in front of it. That's what you don't want to. Yes, Nimzovic. That's Nimzovic. My system. Okay, so that is very important. So you would want your like to place here and then very nicely c6, and then you have firmly blockaded it, and you keep it blockaded. You keep it blockading. Let the game continue through its phases. There will be middle game. It will go back and forth. Pieces will be exchanged. Eventually, simplifications will happen. Eventually, end games will be reached. Then you start telling him why it is bad to have an IQP. So c6 is very good, but it does not control. You do not control d5 enough yet to have played this because he can now go here and get rid of his weakness, which is the very principal thing for him to do. He needs to do this right now before he gets worse. This is very important for him right to do right now before he gets worse, right? Uh, so instead of c6, knight b6 first. So then now he doesn't have this, right? And then c6 and knight here, and that's it. Now you have completely blockaded the pawn after that. And now he really needs to do that, but only people who really understand chess, like at your around your rating levels, they will never find this that they have to do this. Uh, People with higher understanding will do that, and you know why they will play that? Why they will play d5, d4, d5 immediately? Because they're not feeling good about their position now. Suddenly, they feel like, oh, I don't have a good version of IQP. I just have all the bad stuff of the IQP. I don't have the good stuff of the IQP at all. So I just have a bad position um, because of that IQP. They will see all this. They will be feeling that, and then they see, oh, c6. I can immediately exchange the pawn now. If he had gone, if he had gone like if you play, let's make waste a move for you. If he had gone d5 now, it doesn't work because he's not actually able to get rid of it. He's not getting rid of it. Now it's gonna attack. Now it's gonna be attacked with much more intensity, right? And he's not able to defend it. So, but c6 gives him a chance to immediately exchange it. Okay, but at your level, they won't be finding it. Takes good. Ooh, queen takes bad. Maybe you don't have anything good, but it just looks, like he took up 1 second on it. So if he is taking 1 second on it, that's just a blindness. He doesn't see this alignment, and he's only lucky if you don't have anything. And the simplest thing would be like what I would do, like in a bullet game, is just if I don't have time, I'll just go here to exchange this. And after I exchange this, then most of the stuff is done. I'll then put a knight on d5, and that's it in the long run. Because now this diagonal is never going to open. If I'm blockading d5, this diagonal is never going to open. I'm going to play. I will be happily playing g6 and king g7 to g6 so that this knight from f5 doesn't become a problem. Okay, good. This pawn is pinned, so these squares are available. And this is again something the same thing I'm telling you about, that maybe there you don't have anything with those squares right now. Maybe knight c5 or knight e5 both are not a move or that do anything right now. Is If you're a good player, you spot it regardless if they can it can happen or not. With the pins, anything that is pinned, you immediately register in your mind that okay, now these squares are immediately usable. Temporarily, currently usable, right? So you register that in your mind whether it does something in the position or not. Knight c5 is good, but I believe knight e5 would have been better because it looks going towards a better place. And in reality, I don't think actually either knight c5 or knight e5 does anything. I would stick with the knight b6, knight d5, because the knight c5 after knight c5 he can unpin with this, and that hits your bishop and your knight. You are lucky you have knight knight a6. But going knight c5, knight a6 doesn't look like very, you know. So this is the second part of it. That when you get good, I'm appreciating you that yeah, you're noticing the that this is pinned and these squares are usable. That is a very important thing. That is more important than knowing how when to do it or when to use them or when to not. But this is the second part of it. Then just because you're seeing it doesn't mean you have to do it. It's just there in the position. You have to. If you're a good player, you have to just know it, just see it that yes, those squares are there. Okay, you decide to do it this way, but now he has a bishop, a dark square bishop, and his knight is coming to f5. This combination is a bit concerning, not too much. Of course, black is certainly better, but oh, by the way, this knight is aligned um with the queen, so um you can get rid of his dark square bishop. What I was saying is, suppose his knight was not, in this, and let's say he's coming to f5. You would want to play g6, right? To not allow the knight in f5. You want to play g6, but that is a very very dangerous thing to do with this bishop being an uncontested dark square bishop. So that will be a bit concerning. You'll have to be very concerned about it. You'll have to be on the very alert that you're not losing because of that. Very good. He goes simply back. You take it. Okay, it's a blunder because okay, the queen has to go to here. That much is sure. Or he can actually also take now. Oh, there's this rook. This rook's here. I thought there, there was only one pair of rook left for some reason. Uh, so he has to go d3, and then can you further kick it? Because I'll see if you're winning it or something. Does he have something that's making this bad for you? I don't think so. No? Okay. We should be out. Oh, no. That also doesn't work. So this is not, it doesn't seem like this will work. Oh, 92, 92, 92, 92. E2, E2, knight on F4, knight on F4. But the rook is, he doesn't have to exchange the rook. So if he just does this and you do this, basically you're getting an exchange. Yeah, getting an exchange. Yeah, yeah. It's embarrassing I took it that long to figure this out. Uh, but yeah, if when you're in good technical shape, yeah, knights and the king relation, and like something I always say, the best place tactically for a knight is one check away, and that knight and f4 is that. And then this thing in relation with the two knights do this stuff with the forks on the king. It's very tricky play. So b5, that was the thing. That was the thing. That was the thing. Do you realize it now? Do you see the tactic? You're winning an exchange here by force. And he can also go very wrong and get a full lose more than that. Okay, so b5, the thing is, these three squares are taken, right? And if queen takes a c6, then rook b8 and he loses this, right? So this much is easy to calculate that on b5 he will go to queen d3. That is force. And he also cannot, you don't have to calculate what happens on queen e2 or what happens on queen e1. because the queen has to stay defending the bishop. So peace relation, you know about how much is forced because of this peace relation that the queen is defending the bishop. You know that this much is forced. This is forced, right? And then you get another tempo on the queen. This is all coming with a tempo on the queen. With knight f4, which now, if you look at this, this is at a forkable distance to the king, and e2 is the square. Knight f4, and you just got yourself e2. And now the thing is that when you take here, oh, this is so amazing. This is so amazing. When you so first of all, when you take here, the queen cannot keep defending e2 at any cost. So he will take here, and then knight e2 fooks the queen. So after rook takes, that's an exchange. That's it. Do you get it? What's so amazing about this is this not only this not only defend this queen d2 for example. When you take it, it's also attacking this knight, but it doesn't matter because either both are knights. So two knights are forkable distance away from the king. So regardless of he takes this knight or that knight, it's knight e2 and he loses in exchange. This is the least that he is losing. If he by chance if he gets nervous and plays this first, then he's losing a full queen after that. He's losing a full piece. He's losing like a full piece if he even finds that. But yeah, if he takes there, then that's a full queen. So the rook has the least he's losing is an exchange. If he takes the rook, then it gets worse for him. So it's all forcing. It's all forcing. Yeah, it's all forcing. It's all forcing. That's why this is amazing. It's amazing to give us the puzzle. This you can actually say for as a puzzle to give as a puzzle. Yeah, and I would actually judge the difficulty a bit high. This is not easy to see, but what's so beautiful about it is forcing b5, and then these all squares are taken. All these squares are taken, and c6 if he takes, then rook c8 wins the bishop. So d3 is forced, and then this. Um, After this, it doesn't matter, if he takes this knight or that knight, he loses the next change. So that is amazing. Okay, so in the game, what happened? In the game, uh, oh, Joe is here. Hello, Joe. How did you find the stream? I had no idea. I have no idea that this username anybody knows. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's the reason why it is a blunder, not because of it's a bad move. It's due to that missed tactic. So it's not really a blunder. You cannot feel bad about that. That is a difficult tactic to see. Queen b6, and all the pluses in the position still remain. It's still an IQP. He still has nothing as compensation for the IQP. He doesn't have the thematic IQP compensation that is needed, and he doesn't have enough to push it yet. And you will take control over the next move anyways. So he just has a weakness. He doesn't have an IQP. He just has a weak pawn. That is it. There's no dual nature that he will be getting something. So now he's getting ready to push it. Oh, I understand that this is a good habit. This is a good habit. Oh, Courtney told you. Okay, Courtney told you. Okay. Um, um, this is a good habit to align your rook with the queen. Just a good general habit, but you have to also understand in the long term, objectively, if you're playing instead for tricks, uh, then you need more control over d5. You need to blockade d5, blockade the IQP, wait it out, let the course of the game go forward, And in the end game, you will win that knight keep. Okay, but understand rook c8. He needs to move his queen h for his nonsense. H6 good, creating loops, very good. Time is right. That's just going to be a weak pawn. Very nice. You could have done it. You could have done it with knight f4. That looked cooler. He might have had to go then g3 or stuff for it. But okay. Okay, he comes there. You go there, and now you have to be just careful about the f7 square. So it's not that big of a deal to defend it. But now you have perfect. Structurally, you're perfect. Positionally, structurally, you're perfect. You've blockaded the pawn. Nothing can move the knight, except of course him offering a knight exchange, which he is very far from. But this knight stays there, blockades the d4 pawn. You'll put your queen on c7, put your rook on e7, put your other rook here. Exchange will happen very soon, and after everything is exchanged, this will just be a goner, right? You'll put maximum pressure on it, and he'll keep defending it, and his position will be miserable. Okay, he's getting out of the knight's attack by going queen to b2, which doesn't make any sense. Very good, queen c7 I like. He's going f5. Rook e7, beautiful. I love it. Double the rooks, love it. No, that doesn't work because it's still pinned. See, when a piece is pinned, if it's being attacked by pieces, then you count how many defenders, how many attackers. If it's being attacked by same level or higher, same value or higher value pieces, then you count how many defenders, how many attackers. If it can be attacked by a lower value piece like a three pawn, three, well, 3 pawns worth of knight versus 1 pawn, then you have to move it. You have to respond to that. You have to respond to that pin. Understand that this doesn't look very good, but a piece is a piece is a piece. It's a full rook. He has 3 minutes left. He has 5 minutes 21 left. Yeah, queen c7, rook e7, and the other rook to e8, doubling on the e5 was excellent. That is perfect. That is what needed to be done. This I don't like. This is a little bit, lack of stability. Keep the knight on d5. Keep the knight on d5. Play with the knight. Learn to play with, uh, keeping everything just there. Just making small incremental improvement. Let's suppose you didn't find f6. It's fine. Let's suppose you don't want to play f6. See what the computer is saying? Put it back to c7. That's what the computer is saying. Let's suppose you didn't find f6. Go queen d6. Right? Just learn to play with these small incremental improvements without changing anything, right? And you can make a lot of 10, you can make dozen moves like this without changing anything. And he will still be worse. You're not, because you're not changing it, you're not committing. So here, and then the queen will go to, for example, f6. You exchange this, and then the knight hops right back to d5. And now these are all weak pawns, right? And this is assuming that we are allowing his knight on e5 for that long. Otherwise, this is already completely winning for you tactically. But even if you don't find it, I showed you that, for example, queen d6 would be there. Very nice. Little incremental moves. By the way, queen d7 to queen d6 is one of those moves I mentioned in the last meeting. Right? Same. This is what differentiates 1700 and 2400, 1700 and 2200, 1600 and 22, 2300. This is the little difference that they can play these without worsening the position. They can make little moves fast. This is a move you can make fast. Nothing to calculate. Just a little incremental improvement of the piece placement. Okay. So in the game, queen b6, knight here to attack the rook, knight there to attack the queen. Mm, not necessary. Not necessary. You had the win in your pocket. And the thing is, you have to first of all learn to not learn to, I know you are sure, but you have to really understand these evaluations, that how incredibly winning you are here. Even if he doesn't blunder the knight, even if he doesn't blunder f6, just without f6, how much winning, how much control your position has, how great your position is, how his pieces are random, scattered, uncoordinated, in disharmony, and there are structural weaknesses that don't go away. They're not going away. So long term uh, uh, pluses you have so much that your position is never going to be not be winning throughout the game. So you don't have to do anything. You went to do something. Now these are imbalances that you're allowing. These are imbalances, and this is not necessary. And right now you're not coordinating at all. Right now your pieces are not coordinating, and now his can, and immediately you might get in trouble. If this rook comes there, then you'll be kind of forced to play f6. In which case, f6 it was good because you were winning a full row or a full piece. But if you have to play it for no reason, then it's much worse. So 27 is see it's not, it doesn't look good. Your pieces are have been caught at an awkward time, and you know yeah. Now he can just simply he can simply draw it if he wants, right? He can simply draw it with a perpetual. Yeah, and back. That's it. So is the game just slipped out of your hand right away after you made the imbalance. He caught you at an awkward point, and immediately now the game can be. Mm, thank you, Joe. Thank you. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Uh, so you see, right away, right? And now he can, if he wants, this is you cannot do anything about it now. If he wants to draw it, it's his call. It's his call if he wants to draw it or if he wants to keep playing. You never have g6. You will just get mated then, right? Of course, you can create some ideas of your own with knight e2 and this, but why allow this from a position of complete utter domination, one-sided, boot on his neck position? Why would you allow that, right? So that is the thing. So in the game, what happened? So he went in the game for knight back to there. So he's taking the long route, and that is not good. Okay, yes, yes, I understand what you're doing. You're taking away this, so this is mate, and he's going to check you there now, and he blundered. He blundered. He got greedy. So after this, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. There's nothing else he can do. He has to repeat. He has to take the perpetual. He has to take the draw. There's nothing he can do. And by the way, now here, and here, if you go g6, still I think the best he has is to still only give the perpetual. Because if he tries to run, then there might be problems. There might be problems. Yeah. So that's the best he has. But he got greedy now. He says, okay, I'll go for my attack. But he gets mated right away. So yeah, nice, nice win. Nice win. By the way, very nice win. But yeah, this was not necessary. So you have the root of how you actually play with 26 and how do you convert these smoothly is first by understanding how incredibly winning they are, how incredibly winning they are without you having to do anything extra. You don't have to search for more advantage. You don't have to try to win more material. You don't have to try to get more dynamicism to get attack, anything. No. You keep it the position as it is still incredibly winning. You don't have to change anything about the position. And the second you realize that, the second you start to get these strong feelings, strong evaluating power, uh, that point, and right at that point, you will start finding playing like 22, 2300 should play with like queen d6, queen f6, little incremental improvements, changing nothing because you're winning. You know you have won the game. It's a matter of time. We are just making moves until white throws in the tower, ultimately. So in your head, you should have already won this game by now. which is when you will start to play quick, fast, nice little healthy balls with which have nothing committal in nature, right? Okay. And by the way, Joe, I really appreciate if he's still here. I think he's gone, but yeah, I do appreciate. I appreciate a lot that um, the guy came to support. Okay, yeah. Okay, do you have another game? Yeah. All right. All right. I'll. I think also end the stream now. It's been going for quite a long time now. See you soon. Bye bye. Okay, I think I'll play. Then play one short one. Then end stream. Oh shit. Wait, load again. Like, look at this guy, for example. His bullet is 20 for 1, his rapid is 20 for 31 with a question mark. And blitz is 23.91. Nobody's bullet is 1900, and then blitz is 1900, and then rapid is certainly 2500. That guy was certainly the first guy I played. Okay, again, I'm not sure about this, but okay. 1648 blitz, 1282 question mark bullet, 1975. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But it doesn't matter to me. We still get instructive games out of these guys. Okay, now if he plays bishop f5, I'll go f3 g4, h4 idea. And if he does not, then this triangle structure he's playing. I think people play this when they don't realize that it's not a d4 c4 opening. h6, I like to see, because now we'll wait for him to castle first. Oh, this I don't like. Bishop b4 is the most unpleasant move when you place a knight on c3 and you haven't pushed the c pawn and you're playing a d4. It is very anti-positional, putting the knight on c3 in a d4 opening, um, as in the Java, and that's why bishop b4 is usually the most unpleasant thing you face in it. Now he cannot really exceed pressure from here, I'll just take, but he can increase pressure from here. So he's kind of forcing me to castle. So if I start g4, h4, g5 stuff, I'll have to do it while I'm castled. His name is what? Rian Bad Player. 15,430 games joined 5 years ago. Not sure about this guy. Okay, regardless. No, I don't want to put my queen here because this pawn is not moving. This pawn is not moving. So alright, I'll just cast. Bite it. What I wanted to do was, okay, this is a good move then. Is it? It is, I think. Because if I play this, you'll castle, and then knight d6 doesn't do anything. I'll try it anyways, and we'll figure out yes, how genuine the guy is. Now he has to castle. Now he has to castle. If it is something like this take, then I'll have knight takes f7. Hmm. Okay, so I have knight takes c4, pawn takes c4, knight c7. And by the way, I didn't have knight f7 because king takes and then knight c7 is not that big a threat. I'll just move, and then yes, I can move and get that. But, okay, so knight takes, pawn takes, and see by the way, this stuff. He played it this fast, right? He played it this fast, and the amount of calculation required. So if this turns out to be actually sound, like actually in every little all the lines, black is having some little resource, incredible resource due to which it's not working out for white, then and which I will find after a lot of calculation, then it is immediately visible to any half experienced player with half a mind that this is a little too much coincidence for it to be the best move also. And they have them playing this fast. Especially the moves like this which require calculation, decent amount of calculation. Okay, so knight takes c4, e takes c4, knight c7, king moves. Uh, and the problem is, what do I do? Because I'm down a piece. If I just take, then he'll get two pieces. Um, no, what? Yeah, he'll get two pieces. I'll get rook and pawn, these two pawns. So that definitely looks like something that he should be. I'll first take, and then on check, I will on take, I will give a check. On the king moves, I will take this, and then there will be e5. You might get three pieces for the rook if my knight gets trapped in them. See, now I'm starting to see that there are little resources for black. Takes, knight c7 with the king f8. Now if I take here, there's e5. Pawn takes, queen takes, pawn takes, queen takes. I'm down two pieces. I didn't even get the rook on that line. So knight takes, pawn takes, knight c7, king f8. Bishop here is not a thing because of e5, and then do I have anything? Now, amazingly, I have nothing there. So knight takes, pawn takes, knight c7, king f8. We can eliminate bishop takes c4, son of a. We can eliminate bishop takes c4. If we take the rook, then they take my bishop. And again, I don't have knight c7 because e5. Okay, in this case, at least I'll take, and then if the queen takes, I take here. I take here. So at the very least, even if it's worse for white, it's not that, it doesn't look that horrible. What was the point? Yeah, knight takes, then there's, okay. But I will play it, I'll bite it because I need to know for sure that if this guy is using outside assistance, and this will clarify so that can I have to take the rook if I take the bishop? If I take the pawn, then there's e5. So now I have to take the rook. He would take that. Now the question is, do I need to go immediately back, or do I have queen takes? Can I take this first at least? No, I think I have to move back, otherwise he goes bishop f5, and then I cannot move back. Ridiculous, ridiculous. And apparently, this guy saw it all in 10 seconds. Pretty so. Apparently, oh, there was this. So now the knight is trapped because it's trapped on c7 because it can't get out. Try to understand how ridiculous this is. And now I'll take here with the pawn so that my rook can come and defend. But in the meantime, I'm very sure that he will have something. I don't have d5 to try to get it out this way because on d5 there will be e5 and then this is lost. And now he attacks it twice. So just, just, just ridiculous. If I defend, what is he doing? I'm very sure you'll have something there also. Ridiculous, man. Leeches. Fucking stupid people. This shouldn't work. I take, I mean, this shouldn't work that horribly for me. I take, he takes, I take, he takes. I take, he takes, I take. He has a knight and this bishop for my rook, extra rook. Um, and the pawn structure looks horrible. If I sack my rook, then I'm just down. Then he's just off the piece, right? Yeah, if I sack my rook, it's just off the piece. So if I take and queen takes, and I play something like the bishop takes, and I play something like rook takes, queen takes, and then take, yeah, then I'm down a piece, and I don't see anything I have for it. Oh, fun! I was not playing this. I was trying to show I'm not enough even to take back from this piece of shit. So what I was going to show is if I took with the bishop instead, then knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. Yeah, but I would not allow this bishop to live here. So I would rather exchange it this way. That takes, and the bishop also get exchanged. That was basically the position where the pawn structure would not be ideal. I would get in this one too, but that is certainly played for white. It doesn't look too bad for white. So yeah, starts from here, c5. Yeah, I can tell this is c5 is not a c5 is not a complete solution. I could tell at that point. But yeah, now knight b5, and yes, I was telling you he needs to castle, and now we won't see it first. First, I will try to understand. So here, I think the best I have is there anything else that works? Oh, there could also be, I guess, bishop here, but then he can just castle, so it doesn't really do much. And the rook will be defending the f7 pawn. Yeah, anyway, I'm not getting more than two pieces for the rook. So I think this is correct. And this is very much correct. Taking with the bishop and then with the knight doesn't make sense now. Um, yeah, I think knight is here's the only thing again, only thing. Okay, Indian says first go a3. First go a3. He takes. I take. He castles. Well, yeah. This is winning in a different way. It's not tactically winning. It's not tactic, but this is obviously winning in different ways. That I'll then have a plethora of pawns on the queen side, plus a lot of control on the queen side. I'll dominate on the queen side, and this is a different kind. This is going to be a different kind of win then, but that's not what I was going for. I'm trying to make it this exciting. So knight takes, pawn takes. Yeah. So it's nothing I missed. There's nothing I missed. Have to take it. Have to take it. There was no time for anything else. Because if I take the pawn, thinking that this cannot really go away, because on this I'll have knight takes e6 check and then pick this up, which would be even better for me. Um, but the problem with this is he will just go e5. So I don't have. And then if I take um, queen takes, take the knight, he'll take c4. So I don't cannot put my bishop on c4 to give an extra piece. So the only thing was knight takes, this takes. Okay, now a3. Oh, a3 b4, a3 b4, a3 b4. These two are taken. Uh, these two are taken. These two are taken. So a3 b4. That's the idea to get the knight out. It did get out in the end. It was always two pieces and two pawns for the rook, and that's how it always stayed. So it didn't get really stuck there. Now I can go g5 and knight h5, I believe. Knight h5 we cannot go because the queen is covering it, but knight e4 he can go. But then I'll go here and save my thing. A6 he went. It stops knight b5, now he's trying to trap here. But then I take this with the pawn so that my rook can come and defend it. It goes there. My rook comes and defends it, and now e5 is the move, and then yeah, kind of this is the position I looked at in my mind. So take, and pawn takes. And this I felt quite nice about and quite bullish about. And I would actually rate evaluation of this endgame a little bit higher. This king is quite open. It's an endgame, so my extra rook will actually have enough power, will demonstrate enough power to. I have the open files for the extra rook, so it will demonstrate enough power to to match the two pieces of black. So I would actually rate it, practically speaking, much higher. I do get, however, if it can also quickly turn bad for white, but I do not really believe in it. It's point three. Queen exchange. Yeah, because his king is open, which is why actually the more it reaches towards the endgame, more the rook shows its power over the two pieces. This goes back. This is good, yeah. Okay, he hits this, but he cannot take it yet because the bishop is hanging. So okay, this is also good. Bishop goes here, attacks that. We pin it. What moves? It comes here. Okay. Rook infiltrates. Defend it. Bishop c6. Kick the rook. Delete that. Yeah, because I not to allow this. So but then really. Okay, if he takes this, then white will take b7. Oh, first rook here. He does take that. And now if I take it, then he will also have bishop b5. before I go here. After which I'm losing my pawn. So that's why this first. And yeah, rook takes f2 is one of the moves. Taking here is one of the moves. Yeah, I guess. Finally now we will have solid structure, and the only pieces on the board are not enough to. Like, why does a king and a rook? He can use his king and a rook as much as he can. So where will we exactly press? The only long-term wise, we only will slowly prepare this and start to get, try to get um, fast ones going over on the king side. But yeah, actually, that I'm surprised it's not a little bit higher in evaluation for white. Regardless, this was nice. It was nice that this stuff. But yeah, of course, if I would have been playing OTB, I would have tried to look at A3 more and figured out, of course, that it is working much more. The point is, you cannot really avoid it. If he, for example, avoids it with bishop a5, now he loses the control of this diagonal. And if he tries to keep himself on that diagonal with bishop e7, then the point is this that was not working in the other line because well, it's not working in the other line. Takes. I forgot. So now he takes this. Oh, because now I'm not attacking the rook, I'm attacking the bishop, of course. Attacking the bishop, and then um, if you take this, then well, this is just a tempo move. He'll have to go back, and then knight here is mate. Oh wow, yeah, this is also this stuff is also there, but he can take with the no, it's the same thing. If he takes with the king, it's the same thing. The same thing. He'll have to give up the queen now because this is my king is cramped. It was I was looking at smothered stuff here, but the smothered stuff doesn't work because my it's my knight. If it was his knight here, then it's the smothered mate. Well, not exactly. I was waiting to put. I was going to show rook f8 and then smothered mate, but it doesn't work because it's my knight. But smothered also means that you're very close, anyways, to give stuff to do stuff like this, where he has to now sack a queen to avoid checkmate. Okay, so yeah, knight g6 works, but other than knight g6, um, if I do this, is it still the same thing? I get still the same thing. Takes. Um, oh, okay, yes, of course. This is a puzzle storm stuff. I'm giving three pieces, by the way, right? Yeah, I'm giving three pieces for my queen. But his problem is that his pieces are not showing great coordination. I just got rid of the bishop there, and then it's also about his king position and the extra pawns, which is why white has the great advantage there. But yeah, not castling and going c5 before castling, or before going a6 is yeah. But I understand now he plays this Slav type structure against d4 c4 and is playing similar stuff. Yeah. C5 is of course the main move. Then after you set up the triangle structure, you're either going for E5 or you're going for C5. It's the same as if you reverse the color, then in the Cole system. Okay. That was a good game. It was an unfortunate mouse slip. Otherwise, we would have actually gotten to see that Rook versus 2 Marvison game, and I would have tested his. Well, okay, also, I'm not very sure that this guy was cheating now. Maybe not. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He was not. His those but you cannot play moves like C4 um in 10 seconds. Having seen so much, you cannot see so much in 10 seconds. There's a lot of calculation. Okay, what I'll do is I'll play another. Create lobby game. 10-5. I think this should be my last one getting to Sweden. Classical increment Swiss. I would have played, but it's now too much, too late. And too much extra energy I have to spend. We will play just 9-6-2. It is casual, but 2 minutes is too low. No, no, just 9-6-2. 2184, no bullet. Which is 1950 something. Exchange French. We played 1,000 times. Will he play H3? No, he will not. Symmetrical. Everything. Yeah. Most people would go bishop h4, but you have to know this beforehand. That the thing about this position is that my queen was going to c7, and then if he ever plays h3, I'll take this and then go g5, and then bishop has to go back, and then I'll play bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then my queen was sitting here. I will have won a pawn, and not just that, my pawn would be on g5, which would be going to g4 next, and my knight from f6. Um, that position is of course winning for now. But I had to play 97 before playing 8-6. I kind of assumed he would win 8-4. It's nobody does. On the upside, I do have an uncontested dark square bishop, but I cannot really do much about this knight. Hmm. B7 is it. I'm trying to see stuff like if I try, can I do much about this defender of the king, but it seems like I cannot really do much about this. Like for example, if you imagine takes takes, then okay, yes, of course, this check will pick up the knight, but also this is a combo that can pick up the knight later. Now I'm thinking ways to give up the pawn, but I don't have ways. If I didn't have this knight, then I would have ways to give up the pawn. You go like rook here, queen takes, yeah. And if it takes on c6, then there will be winning of the queen. And if it doesn't take, then this rook is going here to take here. Ah, like a caveman. Um, I actually can still do that. Should I go completely box? Go knight d7, queen takes, rook here, h3, rook e4. But yeah, in a lot of those lines, then you will also have. Well, knight will be on d7. However, my knight would also be hanging. Doesn't really work out cleanly. If I have two moves, I can also play knight d7 and a6, and then trap his queen. If he takes on b7, then this rook will trap his queen because he cannot take the knight, it is defended, and he cannot take c6 because of queen h2. So bishop h2, sorry. Okay, still try for it. Right now d7, here, rook here, queen h6. He doesn't have h3, but he has this. Yeah, actually, I can do this to force queen a6 and then go back rook e8, but then he will contest my rook. Or actually, knight d7, queen takes, rook takes, queen a6, rook takes b2, and now I'm actually going to take this, knight takes, and then queen here picks up the knight. Just for the sake of something entertaining, I'm not I'm not trying to um, play very objective chess here. Oh, if queen takes here, then I should actually take with try to with this rook, and so that I give a chance to take this. When indeed it is trapped. After this, he goes to b6, and then after this is trapped. Can never take this. So I should actually use this rook. So nice. And then with my threat is okay. I'm thinking too much for player. Yeah, take it back. I'm not giving you that easy of a loss. Rook takes b2. Oh no! Now give me the take back because that's not what I was going for. I'll make you do another take back actually. I'll make you do another take back. After I show you how I'm trapping your queen, then I'll give you another take back. Okay. So this, and then this, and then I'll give him take back so that he can go back and instead of taking on a7, he goes queen a6. Yeah, don't take. Don't take on a7. This is why I would b2. Is in hilarious stuff. So my point, what I'm going to show him next is the tactic that if he has missed all of this, then he will probably miss this also. That I can attack his knight. I can take his knight, take his knight. I'll get two two pieces for the rook, but oh, by the way, I should be careful that uh, I have a backbench set up here. His bishop is looking here, so I have to make sure I don't get backbench. Um, yeah, but I'm not looking at the game very objectively right now. So g6 is kind of forced. Oh, he can actually try f3 and say, okay, I'm not giving you the piece. Queen h2, queen d3, queen takes, threatening what? So after I take this, he doesn't have a rook here because the bishop is looking, and so he will have to take back. And by the way, I'm not giving any more take backs because this is not lost for you. It could be, I don't know, but yeah, this was quality play now instead of Prince sticks and all that. But now I will not give any more takebacks because otherwise that's all we'll be doing. I don't have that much time. I have to go fast. I cannot chat this and tell him because Lee just won't let me talk to people. Okay, now I'm very tired. Yeah, this is actually not hanging. Now it is, but mine is also hanging. But the problem is, dear, that after I take this, I'm going here and here. You did not see that, dear. Oh, he has queen f4. Son of a, he has queen f4. He has queen f4. Also, I can hit his rook first, and then rook queen f3. He actually doesn't have to move the rook, by the way, because as long as the queen is on b6. Because then if I take his rook, he can take my knight. But I can then move my bishop. So now he does have to move the rook. Well, I don't think he can. But he, then he's losing the exchange, which I don't want to take, by the way. I don't want to take his bloody rook for some nice right square bishop. It's also, by the way, not exactly. Like it's obviously not a very instructive game in the soundness sense, but it does fall in the theme a bit of okay, so he's just gonna be down pieces. It does fall under the category of the theme of not the category, the theme of that, where you play with two bishops in one of the nice topics about how to play with two bishops. You use one of the bishops to induce pawn moves on a certain color complex. So, for example, I use my dark square bishop to make threats on the dark squares. So, to defend against the threat on dark squares, he's putting all of these pawns on the dark squares, which inevitably means that his light squares are weak. And because of that, what happens is then I will use my other bishop to exploit all the light squares. Um, I'll find something that is not just play here. I'll find something to show the example of that. I'll keep trying to be here and then so that I can play a knight to knight to e e4, and if I get to play a knight to e4, then I again block the screen and I'm ready to go back. The problem is if I go here, it will keep following me. Because I did not take the rook, which I could have, and being just on the page. Now, um, he's going to actually have two rooks. So, or a rook for two pieces. So these are all taken, so the queen cannot really come here or anywhere. This is all taken. The only thing I don't like is you try to maybe do this, but he did not. So now he should. Oh, okay. If I did this, but he doesn't have time because if he had done this and I go for this, then that's that's not working because queen will take and defend. But the reason it doesn't have time is because this is mate. So now you have to basically say, oh no, he doesn't have that either. Oh, he has queen there, but then I go here. He doesn't have rook here because of queen takes, and he doesn't have queen here because then I go there. And he doesn't have rook here because queen f2 is After is also hit. He needed to just keep following. Not that that saves it. And now, actually, by the way, I'm sorry I won't give any more take backs because uh, I'm very tired and I need to stop streaming and go to sleep. I cannot sleep. Then I need to go lie down. Please, just bastards. Let's go. And then I think they say that they and also disable my any interaction that I can do with anyone. Only this. Nobody can see my messages. I cannot see anybody's. I cannot get anybody's messages. Nobody can challenge me. I cannot challenge anybody. Uh, if I put my challenge on the lobby thing, they cannot see my challenge there. I only get paid because when somebody else puts a 10 plus 5 up there, then I automatically get paid. But nobody's spotting them and picking up. So that is just a horrible display of. Well, I don't want to get banned, so I'm not cold enough for that. Even there. Good game. I would like to congratulate him to discuss stuff with him, but unfortunately. Oh well, now I feel too rude, not saying anything and not also being not being able to congratulate. And then if I decline the email, I could feel. Also, now I know that he's genuine, so I don't mind. Ooh, really? Now you're playing a French without your last revision. Ooh, no. Maybe, yeah, S6 is not possible yet. But I need to keep the F4 square open for this. And also, I don't have a knight in F3, so what am I doing? But he also doesn't have a knight in C6, so queen V6 is not going to be that big of a deal. But he has a check. Here's a queen check. Dirty. Yeah, but this again is not ideal for him. I don't like this at all. I should have just gone and allowed the queen check and gone king F1. Terrible. Terrible play by me. If I go here, he wouldn't have had anything. But then I don't have follow up. I cannot go with my queen. That's why I do not like this one. I'm just trying to stop this, but yeah, queen was perfect here. Yes, yes, I know what you're doing. I will allow you to come in and only then kick you. Oh no, but now I have to go here. I cannot go. D1 when because then you would take. Now I'll kick you so that it wastes more time of black. Black is doing terrible in this game. If I lose, it will be because I'm blind. Oh, but now I can. I would like to move my queen to defend the knight, not any other way. Uh, But the problem is, look over here. It doesn't threaten short. As he goes here, I would actually allow him to take him. Take him. The trick I see is to go rook d1, and when he takes, then I'll go b3, and the knight cannot move because if the knight moves, then I have to check, picking up the queen. However, I will be giving up a bishop and the rook. Oh, this is a nice one. This is a nice one, but I have this in the end. Nice fine, but I have that in the end. I also have this check. But nice effort. Nice effort. So what if I do this first? Which only obviously fell for me, but then I'm also asking him what he is doing. Yeah. But then the problem is that if he doesn't take and I take this, and he just moves king, for example, then I take this, then he'll take this, then I'm actually losing a piece. I'm hitting a bishop here, which can be defended. It's queen of g7. I'm hitting a bishop here. What can I do? Does look very uncomfortable for him. Rook b8. I would go like with the king behind here, so I'd go like queen and surrender. You have to go like g8. But then the queen is coming back to f8, so it's not a problem. I can go like queen here, but at the rook, the queen goes back to f8. Then I can come in with the rook hitting his, and now this is pin, it cannot move. So my calculation is 97, queen g7, bishop g5, which I don't need. I can just take here and be okay. But bishop b5. If pawn takes, then that just works perfectly. I'll just take with the check, and then I'll take back. No, it actually does not work perfectly. I'll take the knight, and I'm still down a piece. But then I'm hitting the bishop, and actually the bishop can just move a6. Then if I move, then I'm giving you ample time. His king can have fun if it can go b8. Queen can come back to here, and then he's doing fine. I'm just down a piece for no reason. So quite nice and necessary calculation. I can actually just take check, and then just take the knight. Oh, we maybe have this. No, that does not work. I'll pull my knight back. Yeah, I don't think taking g7 is that important. However, taking g7 does make sure that his king never castles. If he castles, that actually might not be that bad for him. Yeah, takes check, king f8. Okay, so if I take, he first of all cannot take, because if I take and take, king f8, for example, I go take and I'm hitting the rook, so he doesn't have time. So he cannot take it first of all. He cannot take it immediately, but he can take it afterwards. Takes, king moves. Then I take the knight, king takes here, I go bishop e2. Yeah. I'm unnecessarily thinking both everything works, everything is good. Black has played the opening so badly that even when he found a tactic, he's not working out well. As Bobby Fischer very aptly pointed out, the truth he discovered about chess, one of the truths, that tactics flow from a superior position, but that's not the word I was going for. I was going to say tactics always favor, tactics are always going to favor the side Okay, if it takes, I cannot take. I can actually, I can. Because then I can get out of the check. If he goes bishop a6, then he's hitting my rook. I can get out of the check, his king moves, but then still my rook and my knight both are hit. So I can go like queen c6 then. Yeah, I can go king c6. His king will be in trouble. His queen is very discoordinated. Oh, queen check can be replied with queen here, but then he's not back my knight anymore. So then I can just go like rook c1. Okay, yeah, yeah. Now if he plays king g8, then I hit the rook. If he defends the rook, then he's not hitting. If he defends the rook with the queen, then it's not hitting my knight anymore. Oh, by the way, if this happens, I don't have a free move to move without a check because this is mate. But the thing is, if this happens, then I take his rook. Okay, so in this case, I'll do this, and he's not attacking anything anymore. I have this next pawn here, which is not the maximum I could have got from the position, but I'm happy. I'll reposition the knight because that looks a bad knight. He's threatening to take on a2, but not with the bishop because I would pin it with rook c2. But he's, I think, threatening to take it with the rook, which is fine because then again I actually go rook a1. And he cannot move the bishop because then rook a8 would pin. So I will allow that. I'm playing very tactically for no reason. I can also, of course, um, I can of course go into the conversion mode and then just exchange everything, convert easily. I'll push the pawn a5, a4, a4. But this guy's good, so I'll allow him some entertainment. This guy's good in the sense as a good player, so not a good player. But I like it. I like it. He's trying. He's trying with good tactics. They're not working out for him because his outside of tactics, his play is not. Yeah, with a depth of understanding of chess stuff. The opening was very badly played by him. Yeah, the thing is, now this happens, and wherever he goes the bishop, it doesn't matter. This pins the queen. He will have to play queen a5, but then on queen a5 he gets back rank mated. That king is in a very. That's why I didn't take d7. Ooh, very nice. Very, very, very nice. So if I take, then he will he will deliver a mate. But the thing is, I can get out of that. Can you get out? Can you get out of the? Okay, well, I'm also tempted to go knight takes, pawn takes, check, forced. That is forced, but after that, what do I have? I have a check. He will go like say here. No, because then king rook f8 and etc. I want to use my knight in some flashy way, not like I don't want to give it a minute. I don't make use of it tactically somehow. I can put it back on h5. Just see what it does. If he goes h6, then I'll go like here, attacking this. But then his queen can move. However, if his queen moves, then I'll take. So I'll go here, attacking f7, so that if he ever goes here, then this comes to the attack on b7 with the hard match 5. But I think what I do need to do is what I actually need to do is just make a pawn move h3 or h4. Before I take, I will move my king to h2. So if my king is going to go on h2, I don't want to go on h4. It's a necessary, a tempo. Yeah. So h3. Because otherwise h4 makes more sense if I want to do something. Because I know next move is going to move one of these pawns. In which case h4 makes more sense to try to open his king up a bit. Or have just a pawn there to help in those scenarios. Oh, he has queen. No, he doesn't have queen b2 yet because he has to first solve the back rank issue. Oh yeah. Now if he didn't actually play h6, then actually I could have gotten here because check, I go king h2, and then if he takes the rook, he doesn't have time because of queen c8. Yeah, this looks like, to not very intellectual, not very intellectual move, let's say. I actually have a if his king tries to go away, I actually have this check and I pick up the bishop. Let's see if he finds it. Let's see if he sees it. You know he doesn't. I knew he won't see it. I should have free moved it. That would have been cool. But I would absolutely look like an absolute idiot he if he played something which after which I lose my queen because I free moved. It was cool free move. I'll not be allowed. I'll not be able to give a lot more takebacks, man, because I think it's good. I solved the background issue. So on this check he goes here. On this check he takes my rook. No, on queen f7 he takes my rook. I have to find something out of it. Okay, so actually that queen on a1 is very, very misplaced. So then I take on f7. He goes, yeah. So queen e8, king h7, queen f7, king g8. No, queen f7, queen takes a1. Queen g6 check, king g8, and knight takes g6. He has to defend this, and rook here is met by queen e8 mate. So I'll give my rook up. From a1, it's very misplaced. There's no checks. The most he can do is take the d4 pawn. The most he can do is take this d4 pawn, which is not doing anything. Not doing anything enough to guard g7 because e7 pawn is still in the way. Rook d8 has to be played now, I think. Oh, bishop b1 is also moved, but then my rook comes to a, yeah. Okay, so check, check, and knight here. If there was no bishop here, then the queen can go. Then the queen can come back and defend. But the reason this is working is because his queen is currently caught. His queen is caught in a moment where it is very, very offside. I can pretty much pre no, I cannot pre-move because he will try rook h7. I think I can pre-move this because his king cannot move anyways. And if he makes a move with the queen, the only move that this pre-move would fail to is bishop b1 because then I won't be able to go back to check him and then mate. So that was not a safe pre-move because of bishop b1. That's some bullet stuff you would do against pre-moves. Okay, this is very nice. I want to say nice stuff to him, but and encourage him, but he just mother was have abandoning the main section. Yeah, the stuff I'm doing has to do with the structure. I know the structure too well, more from the black side, but also from the white side. I made a course for Chess-Gyan, which they never published, and I never cared them. They wanted me to edit it, and I never cared enough to edit it for to be published. I like the course, and my job, my goal was to finish the course. That's it. If it isn't published, I don't care. I didn't want to publish it first of all in the first place. It is something I might actually use in the future for secret openings when in these tournaments. Now they're giving the OTB boards for the top boards. Anybody can see what this guy is playing, and then if you have only one opening that you repeatedly play, then they can prepare against you. So you need to be, play a different stuff, be able to play this one different stuff, have good preparation in different stuff, so then you can anticipate and surprise. Yeah, so what I was doing is I was preparing the property clip. I made the cursive property clip, and one of the ways to play against is to decline it, in which case we get this very structure that is very advanced Frenchy. And in that, this there were a lot of lines where knight f4, this, and if early castles, then an amazing attack is coming. So from that, I knew that I can play knight, put the knight in f4 and do stuff here. But um, yeah, not something deep. I'm just recalling why I played 94, why I felt good about it. Not a big deal otherwise. Of course, nothing. It's nothing. Black is completely fine. We can give a queen f5 check. Yeah, it's not. He's not done stuff very. You know, like first of all, if you take here, then this the Rasko bishop is gone. Rasko bishop is kind of a good bishop for for black. It stays on e7, and from e7 it provides good control. Rasko bishop is kind of a good bishop for black generally in the structure in the advanced French structure. Um, and so that is off the board. So that is the difference in the position, which means it favors me quite well. And I even be able to put more pressure on d4. I mean, he can, but it doesn't have an knight at c6 that puts pressure on d4. On the other hand, then I would also have an knight f3, but then that's the natural counterplay of black. Otherwise, it's one-sided. Yeah, this is too much. This is too much. He needed to really go here and exchange the queens, and I needed to have uh, taken care of that a move prior. That is something I should not allow. And queen d2 is just bad here because now I think queen d2 is wasted. I want my queen to be able to go to g4 to immediately put pressure. Ask him, are you going to castle to defend the g7 pawn or are you going g6? In both cases, I have a clearer direction of what I would do from there, right? So it's a question move. So I really want to ask this question. So, but before that, I need to castle. And if I don't castle, then that's also fine. In this structure, king f1 is also very much fine. D4 is a natural pressure point for black. But yeah, like I said, I'm playing it more from the. And by the way, if D4, I'll ask him to take it. Of course, not good, but he didn't have to take. But yeah, I like it. Oh, but I did it to trap, but it is not trapped. But I lose too much material if he takes. Yeah, actually, he can't take. He can just take. I have to go back to f4 actually. Yeah, I have to go back to f4 now. Yeah, what am I doing? I have to go back to. Oh no, I don't have f4. I think I need to sleep. Yeah, the knight is actually trapped. Yeah, on 22 he has taken e6. I don't have any good checks. I have rook e1 with that. That's easily defended. I cannot add much, and if I add much, then there's always 95 opening bishop, 95 or 90 anyway, opening enough defense on e6 for white to have no further directions on what to do. Oh yeah, but that is a very, very, very tangent thing. Okay, so yeah. No, other than that, so I wanted my queen here, and I was okay. I should have been okay with king. Um, I don't know if that's objectively very good, but obviously it cannot be too bad. But practically, that's what I want to play because of the type of chess I'm trying to play. Um, and here I thought that okay, I see what he's doing. He's nicely going for this nice square on c4, but I haven't played b4 yet. And because I have not played b4, I still have the chance to go b3. So this is not an outpost yet. And so now many people would go B3 to stop it from coming there, but sometimes, you say that no, we'll just allow it there because I don't like my queen D2, I'm not queen on D1 to go to G4, right? So I'll allow him there, then I'll go queen D1 and then I'll kick it anyway. So it's a waste of a move for him. And I want to go B3 anyways, right? But it's a waste of a move for him. So these kind of things you encourage your opponent for. Don't be afraid of it. But after I played, then I realized shit. I can't do queen d1 because then that takes this, and then I can move my queen because he also takes this. I can move my queen. It's divided by the knight, but I don't want to give that bishop up. His bishop might suck because of all this. His bishop might suck, but my bishop is absolutely fantastic. Um, so that's why instead of 21, I have to go to 22. 22, which is the same thing. I'm taking control of. I'm going to that tackle where I wanted to go. But now he plays queen g5, and yeah, I didn't like this much. And here I was trying to show one more thing that if he does this and this, let's pretend this is not hanging, and then let's say I'll go with b1. I'm showing how to indirectly defend pawns, and then he cannot take there. If we take there, then yes, we do not have any avenues of um, discovery on the queen yet, winning the queen. But what we do have is b3 now, so he cannot move the knight. He has to lose the full piece. If he moves the knight, the point is if he moves the knight, then bishop b5 check wins the queen. And the knight is the blockade. The knight is blocking the bishop from doing that, which is why it is a pin. I was just not also thinking to show further that if on b3, if on b3 there can be something like queen d4. Let's again pretend that the queen is not hanging, and then takes, and now you cannot defend your bishop because, and let's again, now you cannot defend your bishop because the bishop cannot go to f1. In which case it will be defended, but because mate is also threatened. However, furthermore, you can go f3, but the problem is because taking the bishop hits the queen, black is in a position to make that make that happen. Um, completely, completely on a tangent and completely off the rails. Okay, but yeah, there was some interesting stuff. What happened in the game is also quite nice stuff. This is what I liked about my guy that he was trying genuine tactics, genuinely good tactics. But the only problem for him was that, yeah, that I really like this stuff. So I go deep into them. He was not using as much time. I was using a lot of time. As you look at his time, it's 10:08. It's 10:08. No, is it? Yeah, it is. He hasn't taken any time, and it's 10:58. Is it? No, it's 10:08. So he took like only 20 seconds or something. You cannot fully calculate. But yeah, even if you cannot fully calculate, you should be able to see that at the very least a simple knight g7, and you're not winning a full pawn. However, he might have actually seen that and wished that I play knight g7 so he gets a good g8 attack this, and then hope, pray, or dream. Dream is the right word because it's never happening. Dream that sometime, someday this pawn can move so that um, this bishop combines. But that's not happening because there's no pawn break. There's no c5. There's nothing. There's no dark square bishop. There's no knight after the exchanges. So After that, simply g3, you can try h4, h5 after, yeah. So maybe he did see knight g7, but yeah, there's too much happening. Too much happening. After this, I take his knight. Now, if he takes my bishop, which he did, then we do what happened in the game. And if he had gone queen defend here, then the point is that he's not attacking the knight anymore. Then I can, by the way, to queen g6. However, he will go bishop here, but then he's not attacking the rook. But I can also play simply like this, and this is obviously winning for white. White is winning from the opening itself after the opening. Um, and it was before he was white was winning, he was better because there's no dance square bishop. It's an advanced classical French kind of position with the advanced French slash classical French type position with the dark square bishop and the c6 knight for the f3 knight. These two exchanges in the position, which these differences favor white. These differences favor white much more. So white was already better, and then yeah, it progressively got worse for him, and the tactics didn't work for him. And yeah, this is another trick that I'm allowing a2. I know he's going to suffer a lot if he takes. If he took with the rook, then I take and then here. And if he took with the bishop, then I go like simply rook here. And this was a nice find by him to take and then pick this up this way. Like here also you can do this. I cannot take it yet. If I take it, then this is actually mate. So this was a good find by him. He decided to take with this first, but it's not the pin to the rook. The bishop is not just pinned to the rook here. So you might be thinking that, okay, so I'll take with the rook, in which case now it is not pinned if I play rook f1, but it is still pinned because it cannot move back to d5, in which case it would not be pinned. But here it is still pinned. Yeah, in this case it is still pinned because uh, of the a1 square pins the queen to the rook. So it's the square that is pinned to, not the rook. Very thought. Yeah, I was thinking about d5, and if the bishop could go to d5, yes, that does um, get rid of the pin because then in this queen will take, and after queen takes, bishop takes, I will lose a full bishop. So it's still pin. This was a very nice find by him, and but his problems are not just never ending. His problems are just never ending. I can play king h2, you can play king h7. You tried, and then he had to take the immediately get ask for a take back because queen check picks this up. So he says, okay, instead of taking there, then I'll move my queen, try for some active threats, active play, active counter play. But then his queen was defending the first rank, his queen was closer to the defense there. Now it is attacking my rook, it is a tempo, but I have a bigger tempo. My tempo is that now you're getting checkmated. And yes, that is the kind of move that is needed now. So very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. See, this is a genuine 1900 rapid. This is a genuine 1800, 1900 rapid level player. You could tell from the play immediately, right from the opening. Yeah, no, this is terrible for him. I don't agree with the computer evaluation. The changes in the position, they favor. I have good experience in the structure from the black side of it, some from the white side of it, and I know the advanced French, what works for white, what pieces are good for white, whatever for black. So the point here was, of course, that um, I'm allowing the a2 to fall because of the tricks that I'm seeing, and I'm asking him, "Do you see them?" And he says, "I'll bite," which is what I like about my opponent, this opponent, and it is just unfortunate. Oh, rook a1 is a blunder, is it? Yeah, well, it is because it's a back rank, and he has no way to stop it. After I play this, he will play this and lose the full queen just to get king h7. But I didn't want to show him that. I want to show him that the bishop would not have been pinned to the rook; it would have been pinned to the a1 square. So I like a8 square. Sorry, so I like what I played, and I like that he played this nice little resource, indirect defense of the bishop. Hmm. So is that my blunder? No, it is. Yeah, it is now indeed making for. It's important I don't immediately play it though. It's important I don't immediately play an ID6 because then after rook c8, I don't think I have. Um, I'm down for rook by so there's no two ways about it. There's no compensation or anything. No, there's no compensation or something when you're giving up full rook. There has to be mate. And yeah, now there's no difference, which is what I saw. It's because of this bishop. Otherwise, if the queen can come back here after knight takes, if the bishop is not here, let's suppose the bishop is on c4, then I could not have given the rook because then queen comes back here. Then the best I have is the perpetual. Queen e8, queen g6 back. Okay, I will try to